Se podrá investigar durante años y que se produzcan grandes descubrimientos. Pero al preguntar ¿qué sabe la ciencia sobre la anatomía del cerebro?, a este premio Nobel se le escapa una sonrisa. Santiago Ramón y Cajal sigue siendo la gran referencia, la base de todo.
With respect to anatomy, still Ramón y Cajal is at the basis of everything.
A Bert Sakmann le llegó el premio Nobel siendo aún joven y el galardón, dice, no le cambió la vida, pero sí la forma de investigar.
This was 1991 and I was relatively young, and this is an opportunity to do research completely independent from external distractions. So it has changed in the sense that doing science became easier.
Fue Premio Nobel de Fisiología o Medicina junto a Arvid Neher por sus descubrimientos sobre cómo los iones que llevan la carga eléctrica y son responsables de las propiedades eléctricas de las neuronas podían atravesar la membrana celular. Lo hacen a través de canales iónicos, proteínas. En concreto, pudieron medir y visualizar la corriente eléctrica que pasaba por un único canal. Y desarrollaron la técnica llamada patch clamp. La técnica se aplica ahora en todo el mundo para estudiar el funcionamiento de las células en numerosas enfermedades como las neurodegenerativas.
Our body is operated by the brain and by the nerve cells and anatomically, but along these structures they are traveling electrical signals, and the electrical signals are based on electricity. That means ions, these are charged particles passing from outside to inside the cell and vice versa. And for a long time it was not known how these ions would pass through the membrane, and basically one could distinguish a carrier mechanism where ions are sort of transported one by one, or a pore mechanism, which is popularly speaking a hole in the membrane which transitorily opens and closes, and we showed once and forever that most of the electrical signals are based on this pore mechanism.
Sobre los procesos que ocurren en el cerebro se basa toda su investigación. ¿Está todo en el cerebro? ¿Procesos complejos como el aprendizaje y sentimientos tan dispares como el amor y el odio?
You asked about the process of learning. That's it's absolutely true. It's even known in which part of the brain learning processes occur. Hate we cannot study in animal models. Love we also cannot study in animal models, but I suspect by extrapolation from other behaviors that's purely dependent on brain states.
Y es que, según Sakmann, la falta de modelos animales que reproduzcan fielmente el cerebro humano impide que podamos comprender aún muchos procesos, como el de la emoción, pero también entender el origen de muchas enfermedades neurodegenerativas como el Alzheimer o el Parkinson.
Dilemma. The human brain is much more complicated than, let's say, a mouse brain. And how do you test Parkinson in a mouse? They have some symptoms that are, let's say, comparable to Parkinson or Alzheimer's, but it's not a one-to-one relation. What you see in the mouse is not what is happening in the human brain. And you cannot experiment on the human brain. So the answer to this is having even more refined methods to look into the human brain as it is working. But right now we can't do that because of the size of the human brain, and you won't find alterations in the connections between the cells in the living brain, and this we can't.
Y tampoco, reconoce, se ha conseguido una técnica capaz de observar el funcionamiento del cerebro en su conjunto.
Well, you can see the brain in vivo at two resolutions. There is what is called magnetic resonance, which basically depends on the blood flow, the oxygenation of the blood flow, which is very, very indirectly related to electrical activity, and then there's a very high resolution, detailed view of electrical activity at the level we need, but this is restricted to rather shallow structures of, let's say, at most 1 millimeter, because the light is scattered, the light cannot penetrate, so cannot penetrate deep into the, let's say, cortex, and therefore these methods are more or less restricted to the very surface of the brain. In, let's say, very reductionist situations, that is, you look at a piece of brain, let's say in a slice, what is missing is to see these processes in the behaving brain. This is a big challenge, and unless we can put these individual processes, which we study in vitro, look at it in the intact brain, there will be always insecurity of how relevant particular processes are. For example, how is memory produced? How is it recalled? Memory storage, memory recall. How is a simple behavior initiated? This is all still up in the air.
Han pasado 85 años entre estas dos imágenes. Cuando piensa en Cajal, Sakmann se acuerda de sus dibujos.
His beautiful drawings of different types of neurons and their connections.
A él le gustaría, antes de jubilarse, y que Cajal lo hubiera visto, asistir a un gran hito sobre el cerebro.
I would be fascinated to have a complete wiring diagram of the entire brain, only of the mouse brain, at electron microscopic resolution, and then study what is happening in the structure of this brain when you are learning something or when you are recognizing an object. This would be my dream.